Hey guys, happy Monday. It's definitely a Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I got to go and celebrate my aunt and uncle's birthdays, and they're twins. So of course, double the party. Sorry about that. I don't know where my stand went, so I'm all extra janky today. But yeah, it was a great time. I got to sneak away. My husband was working on cars all weekend, so I figured I could either sit at home and do nothing, or I could sneak away with the baby and surprise them, and it was a very good surprise. So my husband, he's been working on we have a commuter car, and one of the cylinders went out. I'm not very car savvy, but he is, so he ended up having to buy a new motor, and he's been working on that for a while, and he thought he was going to be done yesterday, but it ended up being a little bit longer of a job than he expected. So long story short, I had to drive 4 hours from where my aunt and uncle live to over here where we live. And then I got a call kind of late, like at 6:45, and he's like, well, I'm not going to be able to be done. And since I spent the whole weekend away from him, I didn't want to, have another night. So I drove down and picked him up. But then I had to drive him down to work this morning. So I've been up since like 5:10, and just got home, and it is 7:50 now. I didn't do any videos all weekend because I was with family, and I didn't want to be like weirdo on my phone and doing a video or whatever. So thought I'd do one this morning, but I definitely wasn't gonna have the time or energy to cook. So I just picked up some quick eats, classic McDos. I got a sausage McMuffin with egg. Typically I don't like the ones with egg, but because of my injury and healing, I have to have so much protein that, I kind of force myself to have the egg for the extra protein. Woo! I thought it was a piece of cheese, but it was a piece of egg. You're going to be hearing Bronson in the background. I should probably turn that light off. Don't come at me about these straws. I don't know if you can hear that song in the background, but it's a song on my son's jumper. It's like the soundtrack of my life. Hey, you. I ran into my neighbor as I was coming in from our drive. Found out that his wife is expecting, which is super exciting. He said it was kind of a struggle for them, so they're really, really excited about it. She's only about 15 weeks at this point, but I had seen a bright pink, bump box on their porch probably 2 weeks ago, And so I had an idea that she was probably pregnant, but I didn't want to be that nosy neighbor. They did one of the early tests, so they found out that they're having a girl. That's one reason why I don't like McDonald's eggs, is that they're always, I don't know, over hard, I guess. They're consistently bad. I shouldn't say bad, they're just not my favorite. I almost got a cinnamon roll too, because I figured with all this like kind of salty savory food, I'd want something to kind of break it up, but that's why I went for the caramel coffee. Sweet enough. And I'll definitely be needing coffee today. It's officially February, so it's my birth month. My birthday's coming up on the 7th. My nephew's is on the 15th. No, 14th. He's a Valentine baby. And then my mom is on the 20th. So I think for my birthday I want to try to do a seafood boil. Costco has crab. I've never actually looked for seafood there. I know they typically have like good steaks and stuff, so I figure we'll give it a try. What you looking at? What you looking at? I'm gonna run and turn off that light. What? You're okay. I'm right here. Bless you. Alright, that's not too bad. I think it's better than having the back lit. What? I'm trying, bud. Hold on. as I was unpacking this breakfast, I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna go to this place more often. Usually when I get the burritos, the breakfast burritos, they only give me 2 of the packets of hot sauce. And I like the hot, not the mild. I mean, the hot's still pretty mild. But they gave me 4, and so I was thinking, oh, well now if I ever like am craving McDonald's breakfast, I know I'm going to this one instead. So I just bit into the hash browns, and they're kind of like soggy. There's like a little crunch on these, but not nearly enough. Also, another exciting thing, I was able to find a card for my phone, so it's nice to not have a blinking time right about here saying, hey, you're running out of space. I was craving these a while ago, and I was thinking, well, I've got plenty of eggs. I had bacon, not sausage, but I stopped and I got like the Velveeta American cheese slices, kind of shredded them up and put them on a tortilla, scrambled up some eggs, and then sprinkled on like chopped bacon. They were delicious. Bronson gets really excited for Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Sorry, there was more in my mouth than I expected. So I had my first hangover for like over a year this past weekend, yesterday. I had almost like 2 bottles of wine to myself, and I haven't really been drinking that much because I'm a mom now. So that was like kind of like my first like get crazy night in a long time. And I woke up at like 5:30 to a very cranky baby. Excuse me. And luckily my mom kind of heard it and she came in and offered to take the baby. And I kind of felt it already coming on at that point. Oh, hold up. I had to auto respond to my mom, making sure I got home okay. Bronson had a little bit of a rough weekend trying to sleep because we were at a new house. It's like a whole new bassinet. And he was not having it. So, a little bit of a long weekend in terms of trying to get Bronson to sleep, but luckily my parents were there to help. So, it was very, very nice to kind of pass him off and get to sleep in. We were trying to get into the routine of when Daddy gets up to get ready for work, he would just not have to turn on lights or anything. He'd use the camera or the flashlight on his phone to like kind of get what he needed to, and then get ready out in the living room. So it was kind of allowing me to sleep for a little bit longer, and we're trying to get better about sleep training Bronson. And there's so many different like methods or suggestions, and I don't know. We've kind of taken 2 of them and smashed them together. So the extinction method, I think it's called, is like the classic cry it out. And we don't let him like cry, but he'll fuss a little bit and kind of kick around in his crib. And when I found out I was pregnant, Facebook must have been like, oh well, we know, so they put a lot of Super Nanny into my video feed. And there's kind of like a timeout method she does. Say her kid's like 5 years old. When it came to timeout, she would say for every year they are, that's how many minutes they get. So 5 years old, they get 5 minutes of timeout. So we're kind of doing that with his crib time. It's not a timeout. It's literally just like time in your crib to like adjust and figure out if you can calm down or not. Self-soothe. So he's 6 months old, so we do 6 minutes. So we do a minute for every month, which it came up when he was 5 months old, but we hadn't been sticking to it very well. So now that we're on the same page about, letting him be in his crib, then he's in there for 6 minutes, and if he's still like really fussing, or if he starts crying, then we'll pull him out and, give him cuddles or bottle, whatever we think he might need, and then put him back in. And repeat. So So far it's been going well. There's been a couple mornings where he'll let me kind of like lay in bed until like 8 before he'll force me out of bed, which is fine. It's like a normal time. But this morning was a little bit extra. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe after I finish this, he'll go down for a nap so I can nap too. Because Mama's tired. Mama's tired. Yesterday, what typically only takes about 3 hours door to door, took a little over 4. Because once we started getting into one particular area of the mountain pass, it started backing up and people slow down. And I honestly don't know why, but it is what it is. We made it safe and sound, that's what matters. And yeah, I was super tired yesterday after the drive, so I went and laid down for a bit, but couldn't really get to sleep. And then that's when I got the call from my husband that, you know, he could either stay down in Tacoma or I could come pick him up. So I went and picked him up. And I think we got to bed a little after 10 is when Bronson went into his crib and we got into bed and everybody started kind of winding down. And then I think around 2 or maybe 3, Bronson woke up and needed a bottle, and pediatricians these days are very and I mean, as they should be, they're pushing, you know, no co-sleeping, no sleeping in the same bed. Like, it should be on back is best and in a bassinet or a crib in a separate sleeping area. But I was feeding him and he kind of fell asleep, like bottle half hanging out of his mouth. And so I thought we'd just snuggle for a little while, and then I fell asleep and, you know, woke up at like 5:30, 5-ish, and was thinking, well, I should probably put him back in his bassinet, and then passed out again. But when he's in my bed, I never feel like I'm fully asleep. Like, I'm always like hyper aware. Yeah, so I'm hoping after I finish this, I'll be nice and full. And he's been in his jumper for just as long as I've been filming, so. So between that and the car ride, I'm hoping that he's also ready for a nap. But we'll see. Whew. That was hot. I saw these moving and forgot the fan was on. I very rarely have the fan on. My husband has it on all the time. All the time. Oh, my foot's going to sleep. like McDonald's hash browns, but once they start cooling off, like, you can really taste the oil in them. Not my favorite part of the hash brown. Anybody got fun plans for the week? I guess it's a silly question. A lot of places are still in lockdown during a pandemic. Who's gotten the vaccine, or do you plan on getting the vaccine? Originally, I was not really planning on getting the vaccine because I felt like it came out so fast, like it's really hard to say what the long-term effects are going to be on it. And fertility being probably like the number one concern for me, but I've not really read anything, you know, and saying that it would. My friend who is a nurse, she assured me that it would have been, like, if there were any concerns about fertility, it would have been, you know, botched a long time ago. But, and it's funny because my husband brought it up too. He said, well, it's almost like, you know, like polio vaccine, you know. It's going to be one of those where it's like, it came out and was able to literally eradicate, like, a terrible, terrible disease. And then, you know, he's kind of team, well, I'm never sick, so he doesn't really feel like he needs to get it. A couple other people in my family are the same way. But, I don't know. I'm just ready for this stuff to be done. But I don't think I'm eligible for the vaccine for a while because they're doing it in phases in my state. They did healthcare workers, frontline workers first, which, yes, they should 100%, you know, be eligible first. And then, I don't remember what the second stage was, or the second phase. And I'm not saying that, like, and maybe I shouldn't even get into this. I'm not saying that, like, prisoners don't or shouldn't get the vaccine, like they're in a high populated, close quarters area. Like, I get that. However, in my state, I don't understand why people in nursing homes are being kind of put behind prisoners. Like, they're in assisted living homes, like, they've gotten through their life, and, you know, sure, we all make mistakes, but, you know, they've not done anything to get their rights or their freedoms taken away from them. They were responsible adults, and like I said, don't get me wrong, I still think that prisoners should get them. I just think not in this particular order. And I have family that has gotten in trouble with the law, so you know, I have thought about it, and yes, they should be getting the vaccine as well, but I don't understand the order. I don't understand exactly why it's in the order that it is. But I don't run the state. And I'm sure it's mainly just to avoid a lot of lawsuits for not keeping the prisoners safe from COVID. I think with that, I'll change the subject to what I don't know. But, I don't know. I guess the more I've thought about it, the more I'm open to getting the vaccine, because I'm just tired. I'm tired of everything being in lockdown. And yes, I wear my mask when I go out in public. When I picked up my food order, I even put on my mask just to grab the food out of the window and pay for the food. Like, I'm not an anti-masker. Like, I'm not trying to be some Karen. I'm just saying, I guess I'm confused by the reasons why it's the priorities list is listed the way it is. That's all. So, alright, I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna finish this breakfast. I have one more burrito and a bit left of that second hash brown. It's just getting colder and oilier. Ugh. My nose has been itchy all morning. I have an alarm going off. Dismiss. This hot sauce is hotter than I remember it being, which is nice.